There's a great quote by Friedrich Nietzsche who says, "In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, as long as you perceive the stars to be above you, you lack the eye of the discerning one." And what he's really saying is that you are just as much a part of the universe as the universe is a part of you. Okay? You are part of this life and the infinitudes of life and this beautiful, majestic quality of life just as much as anybody else and just as much as the stars themselves. And so what you have to realize is that if you are striving to be innovative, if you are striving to be somebody that is going against the status quo, the elites, the governments, the industries around the world, they don't want you to be, our institutions, they don't want you to be capable of knowing how powerful you really are. Because if you did, well, then you would stop living by the status quo. Most people would. And the reason for that is because not only is knowledge power, but it's also because with knowledge also comes great sorrow sometimes. And when you experience sorrow, you get an understanding of wisdom. That is, if you allow yourself to feel the sorrow. And so looking out at the world and the environment that we live in, culturally, politically, economically, etc., I can say with absolute certainty that you're being lied to by nearly everybody, and you are also being told that you have to pay the bill. Well, what do I mean by this? Think about the insurance companies, thinking about taxes. Those are going to be the two main things that I think we need to touch on. And I've been to the doctor for healthcare insurance. I've been to the doctor once in the last 3 years, and I paid about $200 a month for health insurance for the past maybe 3.5, 4 years. And I was paying like $180, $190 before that for another so many years. And I go to the doctor maybe on average once every 2 years. And I still have to pay the deductible when I go. So the deductible, unless I want to pay like $300 to $400 a month for insurance, my deductible is going to be a certain amount. But even if I'm paying like $300 to $400 a month, I'm still going to have a deductible. It's just not going to be as much. So then after that, if I do pay the deductible, let's say, then I have to pay a percentage of the bill that comes back to me anyway. And sometimes the things that happen with your health are not even covered by certain health insurances and agencies. Well, so what exactly is the point of a health insurance agency and a health insurance company if you're going to pay thousands of dollars a year just to either not go to the doctor? And people, the rebuttal to this and the critique to this would be, well, then, what's going to happen if you actually do have something? Well, I could have been saving all the money that I've been spending on insurance and just saving it for the bill because I'm going to have to pay that bill anyway. So, and now it's almost like, because I don't have health insurance anymore, I just can't afford it. Sorry, guys, I cannot afford to have that kind of insurance. I have stuff to do, and I keep my life pretty healthy already. I work out, I eat well, I'm fairly physically fit, and I have a pretty good immune system. God has blessed me in an abundance of ways, physically and biologically, so I'm going to take full advantage of that and be grateful for it. And so, that's the one side with insurance companies, and even with cars, right? If you look at cars, people say, well, what's going to happen if you don't pay car insurance? Like something bad could happen. Well, yeah, of course. But again, I've had my car for over a decade now. Actually, well, not this car that I have, but I've been driving since I was 16, okay? And I'm 28 now, so I've been driving for 12 years. I've never in my life gotten a ticket or anything related to do with cars. Like, I've never gotten in an accident. I've never gotten anything like that. I've always been a pretty cautious driver, but just because I've seen what happens when people are not cautious. There have been times in my family where I've seen that, and etc., where people were not cautious, and so I'm pretty mindful. Okay, I guess not cautious, but mindful. And yet, I've been paying at least insurance on this 2006 Honda Accord that I have. I've been paying like $80 a month on car insurance for, I've had this for 3 years now. So you guys do the math on that. That's nearly $100 a month for car insurance. And not to say that each year I have to renew my registration. I have to get certain tests done and everything. And don't get me wrong, I understand that if you have a car on the road, you want to make sure that it's going to be safe to run, and that's fine and dandy. But why do I have to pay registration every year and taxes? Why do I have to re-register the car to pay taxes on the car that I already pay for insurance, that I already have to pay to get gas, that I'm already taxed on the gas, that I'm already taxed on the roads to drive the car? Like, you guys see where I'm going with this, right? Anybody with an understanding of reasonable logic can see that what is happening here is unexplainable robbery as far as I'm concerned. I'm not necessarily saying that we should start out a full-on revolt against the governments or the industries or the whatever, or the insurance companies, but it is pretty weird that we have to have insurance to drive on the road, and we have to have a vehicle registration every year. We have to do this, we have to do that. And not only that, even if, let's say, and this, we're just getting started here. So then you have property taxes on your house. If you are a house owner, that is. So even, let's say you pay off the mortgage of the house, you still have to pay property taxes or any other kind of HOA fees or anything like that. And so by the end of that, you still don't own your home. Because to own something means that you don't have to pay for it anymore, right? Unless we have a different definition of what it means to own something, I suppose. But this is what I'm saying, guys. This is what I'm saying. You all are being lied to and still expecting to be paid, and still expecting to having paid the bill. You are expected to pay for things. There's another squirrel up there. You're expected to be paying for things because they're trying to gaslight you into doing so. Like, where are we at? And this is we haven't even gotten into relationships and such as well, because that's a whole other discussion. I guess you could say this is like another part to it. Is this goes back to the original quote that I opened with at the beginning. There was an intention for that. It's that we don't have to take this. Enough can be enough. But we all have to band together and realize that this is legitimately wrong. Think about In Permanent Record as well, written by Edward Snowden. There's a black budget in the government for the United States, that is. There's a black budget. Nobody knows the exact number, billions of dollars being poured into that budget. Nobody knows who's in charge of it, and yet it's there. And it's been there for years, because that book was written in like 2014. So like, we've had decades of lying and gaslighting and manipulation from the government, and we have no idea where our tax dollars are going. Like, that's not even the thing that I would be like I'm most upset about with taxes. It's I don't even know what I'm paying for at this point. All we're asking for is a little transparency. All we're asking for is a little decency and a little little acknowledgement of what we're here to do and what we're striving to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so upset. I get that we need taxes for like the roads and for government jobs and everything like that. I get it. But why should the government be so involved with our lives to the point to where we are literally at the point to where we cannot operate without the government say so? And if we get married, this is where we get into the relationship stuff. And if we get married, the government is going to be all up in our business all the time. The government's going to be involved in our relationships and how we conduct our relationships. Our government is involved with, and I get it, we need that to some degree if we're going to have a government, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. We wouldn't need a government if everybody operated under God's laws, statutes, and commandments. We wouldn't. We just simply wouldn't need that. And it's really a shame that so many people are wanting to live in degeneracy. They want to live in these narcissistic hellholes and call it blissful ignorance, because that's what it is. In a lot of cases, these people they're not even striving to do something with their life except for taking things at other people's expense. I don't mind if I see somebody going out there and taking what they deserve and taking it back for them. Go for it, man. More power to you. But if it's not yours, you know, there's a good quote in Time, the movie Time, with like Justin Timberlake and Anna Segfried, or however you pronounce her name. And there's at one point where the character says, you know, is it stealing if it's already been stolen? And that's a good point, right? Because at this point, our money is being stolen from us, our time is being stolen from us, and we are expected to vote for these people. We're expected to vote for the people that forced us to take injections. Otherwise, we would be losing our jobs. We're supposed to vote for the people that are locking us in our homes years ago. Like, why is it the case that everybody seems to have forgotten about the pandemic? I really don't know. And we're supposed to vote for the people that are sending our tax dollars overseas, where we can't even help our own people. There's another hurricane coming in, Hurricane Milton, only weeks after Hurricane Helene or Helen or whatever you pronounce the name of that hurricane. And after that, we've got the elections coming up, and it's been an insane year. We've had the Trump assassination twice, which everybody seems to have forgotten about, and it's like, it's just one fatality after the other, and we're expected to just be numb to it. We're expected to just let this slide. We're expected to just evacuate our homes. Like, number one, for all the people that are in Florida right now, I know there's a couple people from the Regal Change Academy that are in Florida, and I don't know, like, I know one of them isn't evacuating just yet because I don't think they're going to be in the direct line of the hurricane, but one of the other members evacuated. And it's like, how do you expect to be forcing people to evacuate and spending money to go somewhere else, not reimbursing them because FEMA's out of money apparently, right? Because they've been out of money for a week now because they've given all the other money to migrants and to people overseas, and we're supposed to vote for these irresponsible people that don't have our own best interests at heart. Like, you gotta be kidding me, guys. Like, you gotta be nuts to think that this government is legitimate at this point. I really don't see how, and I'm not telling you to not pay taxes or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, how do we expect these people in Hurricane Milton right now to evacuate some of these people have nowhere to go. I mean, I've seen the news, some of the news articles where local news stations are interviewing these people and they have nowhere to go. Like, how does the government expect to pay for this stuff then? Like, you can't force people to do things and then they have nowhere to go. It's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm really exhausted from watching this happen. And so sometimes, like, okay, well, what exactly is the solution then? Well, the solution, in my estimation, is to not treat it as a legitimate thing. Like, obviously, I'm not going to do anything that's going to put me in jail or prison anytime soon, but I'm going to respectfully decline the legitimacy of my government here in the United States by choosing not to vote. I'm not going to vote federally, at least, community-wise and locally I'm going to vote, but I'm not going to vote at the federal level because I don't see the federal government as something that, like, okay, let me ask you this. Why should I be a good sport and a good Samaritan and a good citizen when I'm going to be punished for it? Or worse, I'm going to be excluded and I'm going to be seen as the enemy because I'm a white male that's doing his own thing, that's living his own life. Because at this point, this is what they want. They want gay communism. They want gay communism. This is what the elites are after. They want gay communism, and if you don't believe me, look at the Olympics this year. Look at the Olympics and tell me that that's not what they want to see happen. That's what the elites want. So it seems to me that we're at an impasse here in regard to how we see the world and how we operate in the world. And the only way that I see to win the game is to either not play or to where things escalate so much that we're going to have to create our own sustainable, self-sustainable communities. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing things like the Regal Change Academy. So with all that being said, I do want to thank everybody that has been moving from the YouTube channel over to the X and the Rumble platforms recently. I've received a lot of support there and I really appreciate that. And I also want to give a shout out to everybody in the Regal Change Academy because we've been going hardcore recently. We've been really keeping each other up to date and giving some good information. If you want to join a community where you are around like-minded people, the paid community is going to be where it's at. The Discord channel, we're still getting up and going, but the Discord channel is free. The link is in the description box below. And the school community, the paid community that is also in the link in the description box below. I also want to announce that we're doing a 7 Deadly Sins 7-week course where we're going to be diving into Dante's Inferno. We're going to be reading Dante's Inferno. We're going to have one weekly group call a week in that. And we're also going to be doing tasks that correlate with each sin for each week because we're going to do a different sin each week. And I'm really excited and stoked for that. And if you want to know more information about that, feel free to text me or email me, again in the link in the description box below. And with all that being said, peace be with you all, and may the grace of Jesus be with you all, because we deserve better than this. We deserve better for this, and that's going to be my vote. My vote's for Jesus. Maybe I'll just write in Jesus. Maybe I'll just write in Jesus at the federal level. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. All right, guys. Well, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.